This is Harbor Town. Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new destination.
What's up, Bill? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Bill?
From the edge.
Yo.
All right, cool. Yeah. Tim said he's going to get on a little later, and Brian's going to come on too, so we're good.
No notes for this one, though. I didn't see any.
No, I didn't do it. I didn't know what to put in notes.
The dwarf is about 90% done.
I got to figure out how to get it off of you before Thursday, since you're going to be late.
I will be late, yes.
I may have to
be there till 8:45 at the earliest.
I probably will maybe swing over Wednesday, if that's all right.
I will be home Wednesday.
Okay.
Huggy sale this morning to help out a little bit. Soccer, finish getting Halloween put away. You know.
Yeah, understood.
Never ends.
Sound okay?
Yeah, it's clear here.
Anyone out there on Twitch, Arcade Geek, anyone else sound okay out there? I could pop one up. I think from it's if you go down to the Stratagem link down here, one of our sponsors. It's on their site. It's on the Amazon page. But I may be giving away as many as 3 of them this month, as long as they don't run out of stock on them. And that may be our giveaway in 2 weeks with Stratagem. So yeah, and 2 of that, of course, always 2 of them will go to subscribers, and then 1 will be a general one. So always a cool thing. It's I think it's retail $19.99. It's not too bad on Amazon. Stratagem really only sells through Amazon. actually won today.
We lost 3-1.
So we won 3-1.
Yeah, we were totally out of it today. It's just the team did not look good.
You know, Tim set next Saturday special day, Saturday, December 14th.
I'll have to take a look at the calendar. That's a tough time of year.
I know it is, but we just wanted to try and squeeze one in before the end of the year, and he had it free, so. Especially with Pat's Unplugged the weekend before.
Yeah, well, and Cherie's away that weekend, so it's just, well, she gets back that Saturday night. And that Thursday before, I'm going to definitely be late because we have hockey. So it'll probably just be Sean and I stopping in for a visit after hockey. I would like to, because I want to meet Anna. She'll be busy at PAX, so I don't want to. Can't bother her there.
Yeah, she's working at the Sirenscape. Oh, you can say hi to her and stuff. She'll appreciate that.
Yeah, but I'd
She
like
gets
to.
breaks too. Tonight, this is going to be an interesting topic for everyone tonight. All right, Brian, what's up, man? Look at that. He's got the shirt on, too, Bill. All right.
I don't even see Brian.
Oh, you don't? Oh, that's because he can't see you because we have it set to Twitch as your output. So, and once you get to that, you'll see him. So,
well, it's good someone to wear that shirt. I'm allergic to it, so.
everyone wears the shirt but you and CG, so.
Well, they're all followers.
Oh, that's wrong.
I mean, he kind of press ganged me into it, but it's okay.
To the damn Yankees. Oh, man, look at it. You look handsome.
I mean, I'm always handsome. Let's not lie.
Have our 5e perspective guy tonight. That's just awesome.
But there's nothing 5e perspective whatsoever that has. This is all role play.
I know, which is good. It does. It's so everyone who's listening, it is edition independent, which is great, right? It's a good discussion. So we're gonna come on in 30 seconds here.
I'll tell you, I like the Reaper paints.
Good.
Yeah, I like the little agitator that comes in them too.
They used to be little skulls.
Yes.
It's good to hear.
Or are they not anymore?
I don't know. I haven't finished a bottle in a long time. So
That's cool though, man. I mean, it's good to see that you're doing that you're using them and you're enjoying it. That's good.
And you're about to have a bunch more stuff to paint.
Yeah, a bunch. To put it mildly. Well,
but
that's
here's the thing. Like I said,
April of
Hey,
21.
What's up, Thunder? Good to see you, man.
like I said, with this, you
Here we
can
come.
just,
Coming on. Go ahead. You can talk, Brian. We're good. Be set. Yes.
No, I was just gonna say, like with this, like you can like literally grab your airbrush and take care of
I gotta move these
90%
guys
of
up.
it.
Give me 1 sec here.
Oh, you're talking about the stuff you're making, yeah.
Yeah,
Good evening.
Yeah, I've
good
been
evening.
really considering looking at 3D printers.
yeah, like that whole bag is all
Well,
just.
Brian and Jeff are the two men to talk about. Jacob Jansen and Sublime are the two for the 3D printer realm.
Don't-
So
I
good
paid
evening.
$200 for my 3D printer. I love it.
Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. I am Jay, aka Lord Gazumba, and I got with me, I know there maybe a third, depending on whatever, if he can get on. But I have DM Brian Sublime, or one of our Saturday night special DMs. He was on a couple weeks ago, and he's coming back for this discussion. And I have a special treat for a lot of you Reaper people out there. I have my crafter, Bill the Master Crafter, on tonight, which a lot of you have not seen because he hasn't been on in a while. So, yes, and there's Gitano, hey Thunder, hey Arcade, hey Geek, hey rest of the crew. We got a nice crew on tonight again. Thank you all for hopping on. And this one, didn't want to. I was thinking, should I even try to go there on this topic? But I think it's cool. When Alan Grow last week said to me he thought it was a cool topic to discuss, and that's when I said yes. That's why I figured we'd definitely go with it, and that's relationships within a campaign. Doesn't mean sexual encounters and all that stuff. It means, yeah. I knew someone was gonna start right off the bat. Conquest. It means like, how do you make a campaign like breathe and grow, and that is you got to have your PCs interact with other PCs. So Brian, since you're DMing as well, tell me a little bit about like how this may happen in your game with your groups on Wednesdays that you play
So
in.
I have attempted to throw quite a bit of different NPCs at them for them to latch onto. Most of the time, my table is very much they grab an NPC, they like it, and they try to bring it along. And this time around, they're not doing that, which is not the standard. So I'll get into it later on, I'm sure. But when we did the Storm King's Thunder, which is the kind of the spiritual assault against the giants,
Right.
I threw everything I could to get plot hooks in there, and like they didn't care at all. And they grabbed this one NPC and instead we like completely off the railed and did our own campaign because like they like this one PC or NPC so much.
So basically, you even tried forcing their hand, and it didn't work.
I was not so much try forcing their hand, but like I tried to put a lot of effort into the NPCs, and like they're like, okay, no, we just want to go do our own thing now. Like they're doing this whole bit of it's their campaign. They're not saving the world, and they don't want to have ties to a lot of stuff. So,
well, here's question number 2 off that. Do they interact with each other well?
for the most part, yeah. It seems to be there's a kind of different cliques within. So like they all interact with each other really well. But like thinking of Mark, who plays Corbin, and my buddy Tim, who plays Merrick, they're both kind of brochachos type deals, and they're always kind of trying to one up each other in their machismo. So that's
we have characters just like that, like Dude and Sweet, right, Bill?
Yeah.
So in one group, that's cool. But a bromance is great, in that. So, what else? Do you have? Is there a rivalry in that group?
No. So it's a kind of interesting. My buddy, I say my buddy. Everybody at the table is my buddy. I don't know why I keep on saying my buddy. So Don plays a gentleman, Clef, who is actually one of our. He's an older PC who is a retired sailor, and Aaron, when he came to the table, he's a late addition. He's kind of comes and goes throughout because his life's pretty busy.
Mm-hmm.
He wound up making a former sailor / pirate as well. So those two have this kind of bond of seamanship and that kind of stuff there. So it's kind of interesting because you have the young former pirate and the retired old merchant sailor kind of going on there. So.
Well, you don't really have any like romances or anything like that going on.
No, the only romance we've ever had at the table was what campaign was this?
Because we have a lot of them. we have a ton of them in ours, and or at least
some of them are good and some of them are really bad.
I think it was Storm King's Thunder as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was this hill giant that locked itself in a tower and was really sad, and the players could see there's all sorts of treasures in there, and they didn't want to fight the hill giant because they felt kind of bad for it. So one guy played a Goliath, and he thought he'd be funny and pulled down his pants and do a helicopter at it and at the hill giant. And long story short, he took one for the team, and
oh my god.
The way I had it is that Moog, the hill giant, was already pregnant with her former husband, who but she thought she was pregnant with the Goliath's kid, and so she became kind of a de facto stalker type that would follow the party around and like,
Oh
it's your
my
love
God.
child. So that was a lot of fun.
We have a stalker too. One of Alan's characters is a stalker on Bill's character.
It's true.
Oh, and it's disturbing. What's her
Yeah,
name?
so-
Chimera, right? Yeah. So you
Well,
had
she was a former lady of the evening who Salen had frequented her establishment because he likes girls that'll let him break their bones because he's kind of a freaky guy. But
yes. Thunder gets to the gist. You're going to get this question he just brought up. Gets right to the gist of this. Why I wanted to do this discussion, and hopefully we. I'm responding here. Hopefully, Thunder, we really answered that question for you over the course of this whole discussion. But I'll get to some specifics on it, and I'm going to show you some things that will disturb Bill, obviously, like the Winchester family tree, that kind of stuff. And
well, it doesn't branch.
But we're going to talk about all different sorts of things. But that's a great point, and I'm going to tell you, I think it really enhances our campaign 100%. Yes. Are you making a new one?
A new lightsaber?
A new lightsaber. Yes.
Is that for the guy at work?
Brian,
I saw you so I thought it was somebody
Awesome.
you worked with requested a lightsaber when they saw your Halloween picture.
No, this is just another one for me. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
being super nerdy. This is one of Revan's lightsabers.
So everyone, Brian does crafting for his group in Michigan. His group doesn't stream, but he streams in a VTT for us on Sunday nights. If you haven't seen, he's done 3 of them so far. But Brian's got a 3D printer and does a lot of crafts, and he's got a nice goodie package of more interior. Yeah, look, it's right there. More interior stuff that's coming that Bill will have to paint up real quick with his airbrush and stuff. So we got some cool things in the work, and this is how we all try and help each other out. And that's another thing about having a campaign and a group of multiple DMs, multiple players, which is so cool.
Look at that nice long table.
I love the long table. I love the long table, man. Love it. Absolutely love it.
4 inches long, man. That's
Yeah, well,
Jay's always had a linked envy.
So this, I was trying to figure out how to start this, and let me just say this in the conversation, Thunder, and anywhere else out there. Like I said, this isn't going to be a conquest discussion, even though I know like some of our characters have that personality disorder, like Garth and Bill's character Steyer, right, and a couple others maybe.
Well, he just has business he needs to take care of.
What's up? Yes. Hey, there's Greg. What's up, Greg? How you doing, man? So I think we're gonna try and figure out how this relationship thing really turns the characters and makes them part of a breathing world. And that's what we'll discuss. But generationally, I think we got one up on almost any other campaign out there in existence. So, so Brian had a stalker hill giant. Let's talk about our stalker real quick and start off that, Bill. Why don't you explain what happened to Salen over the last 20 years of gameplay, and then what Alan decided as his character Chimera, which is in one of the newer groups, which she's in the Iron Fury, correct? So explain that relationship out, and how it's kind of disturbing, but how it leads to a little richness between groups. Go ahead.
Well, Salen is a cleric necromancer of mine who's never afraid to fight, but was always afraid of grasping bigger straws and gain more power because the next steps are always dangerous and fearful. And over his career, they found a crown which promised great power if someone would put it on. And he would say he didn't want to touch it because it scared the crap out of him. But we came across a group, those familiar with the Great Hawk campaign will, specifically Greyhawk City, will have heard of Old Mother Grubs. The vampires there in Old Mother Grubs kind of took it upon themselves to promote or believe that Salen was the next coming.
And Karen Mandard, especially Priestess of Erythnol. She would follow you around too, because they all said you were destined for greatness.
Destined for greatness.
Because of the crown of Ruggiero Blood Moon. Now, guys, I made this up. This is probably like 1994, and this is at the old house. So over the course of 18 to 20 years, eventually. And the adventure, it's on. If you guys want to see a picture from it, just scroll down on the main screen, and you go down to. It's down here. It's Sailing Made Me Do It. Adventure 696. What's up, Tim? So we're talking about what 170 adventures ago, roughly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This was this is pre-2013. We ran it. My guess is it was 2011 or 2012. So explain what happened, and then this new your stalker.
Well, ultimately, Sailing, whether he put it on or someone put it on him, and he went crazy. But he met this young woman in Diamond Lake, and it was one of his preferred establishments to visit when he was there. And she became enamored with him and has followed him to Greyhawk and is now an understudy and works for the Gravedigger and Embalmers Guild, where he is the second in charge.
Yes, behind Selzik Gorbayuk himself. So he's. We have a lot of deputy guildmasters that have risen up. You're one.
Alphonse.
Alphonse and the Night Watchman is one. We have, there's a couple others. So a lot of the characters over the course of gameplay have worked their way up in Greyhawk City, and that. So Chimera Dark Soul is the character name. She's a cleric necromancer. No, she's necromancer thief.
Necromancer thief.
And she's very disturbing, and she's like a groupie of Sailing. She's like, I don't know if she's in love with him or just in love with his concept of who he is.
Infatuated, yeah.
Infatuation's more like it. So Alan plays this character to a T. And really, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. I don't know if anyone up watching is out there has seen it, but it freaks me out the way she talks about him. But I guess that's what you do in role play. I mean, characters role played brilliantly.
No, it's no different than certain other infatuations, like Crystal Gradavis, who changed the name, and there's other strange people within the campaign.
Yeah. So, and Brian had a Hill Giantess stalker. Crystal Gradavis is another one. She's in the city of Greyhawk. She has she's not even a Gradavis. She took the Gradavis name because she is from the Shieldlands and she loves the Gradavis family, particularly Railstone and David, both of Mark's characters. She's an NPC of mine. She's a Knight of the Holy Shielding, and she's a lawful neutral. And if you disparage the Gradavises anywhere, she will literally attack you. So she's got a little bit of a little bipolar to her, but she's great great fighter, great in combat. But she's got a little bit of that as well. So we started off with the stalkers. That's awesome.
Well, you guys ran with what just comes next.
Yeah, Brian brought it up. It's like, yeah.
I will say, as much as like the Moog was the stalker, she did play kind of a pivotal role in like one of the later fights. Like she became kind of. They finally accepted her, and Jose, I forget who the character he played was, but Jose was the guy that had the stalker, and like he eventually gave in and was like leading her on that they were having this relationship, but he was just doing it because he felt bad.
Yeah. Wow. Man. So let's go right to the coup de grace guy, and that's Tim. Do you ever have any stalker types at D&D in your campaigns? Tarava was stalking everyone, but that was different.
I guess stalkers are like they're like well, they can start out admiring and then turn into somebody who's angry and hateful.
Yeah.
And malicious. I've only had like nemesis that were pursuing and causing problems. I never really had a stalker.
Well, that's good. That's good. I completely forgot to load up. I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself. I completely forgot to load up something into the scroller, and now I think it's a little too late for me to do it, but I'm going to try. So I'll just show it. That's what I'll do. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I would have thought at college or up with your military buddies, you may have had some that played some like that, but we've had a few. We have a couple other comedy relief types.
We have some friendly admirers. We always have Kruk.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, but that's more of a spoof. So Bill's got a character, Crook, who's named after the baseball player John Crook. He's a half ogre. He owns the Violet Eyed Lady, which is like the premier. If anyone remembers, well, Vinyamar Gardens was where it was at, but the Violet Eyed Lady is like this high-end establishment. It's a bar in our city, Altamira, and it's all in honor of Walt's character, Britomart, right? So,
Absolutely.
but then again, Britomart are. These are
I
all
think it was-
Thunder. These are all a mix of PCs and NPCs and no henchmen to discuss at this point. These are all characters that are interacting within our campaign. Yeah.
Well, stalking's easier to do today than it used to be.
What?
I think. I mean, because stalking. I mean, you're talking about someone has to follow them. Like literally follow, like track them around and try to always hang out around where they live or hang out where they like to go out to eat.
Yeah.
On the road.
Luke would leave sneaky gifts. She, I remember one time she killed an owl bear, decapitated it, and plucked its feathers from its head and just left a owl bear head.
For who?
Like a cat.
For who?
For Jose's character.
Nothing says I'm trying to impress you. Like
like
look
she
what I did.
walked around, and when I did like the encounters for the day, like they only encountered like half the encounters because Moog was sitting there shadowing them and either frightening things away or killing them for them.
So Thunder, let me, yeah. Oh, that's wow. Well, that fits though something a hill giantess would do, I think, right? That would fit. That's pretty cool. So Thunder, here's the answer to this. Because we have so many adventuring parties, and the lower left-hand corner is every adventuring party we have, their figures, and I think we're at 19, which is really, really sick when you think about it. It's a lot. Hey, Rat, what's up, man? Yes, absolutely. That's a great question, too. So with 19 adventuring parties and the Order of Ulick characters that aren't in adventuring parties and all these other characters and all the NPCs, I think I estimate, this is a guess, that there's roughly 1,000 characters in my campaign that interact with each other at one point or another. I think that's about the number. And it's a lot. And but everyone's has a unique flavor to it. And so
how many players over those 40 years, Jay, have you had? 40 different players, probably?
I don't think it's been that many. I think it's like 20 at the most, because you got to remember.
Really? I thought it'd be more than that.
Playing one time? No. I don't count guys who showed up, people who play one time just to see if they like the game. I mean, we're talking about people who actually interacted in the campaign. It's not that, I had this question online, how many, of our regular group. I think, Alan's from 78, Tim and Walter from 80, Mark's from 83, Tom's from 86, and you're 92. From that group. And but we've had probably another 12 to 14 coming in and out. I don't think it's much beyond that, really. I really don't. The one-shotters are one thing. So, Thunder, here's how you're like, how does this all occur over all these years? Well, I don't know. I made up this. This is our marriages / offspring chart. Okay, I should have put it in a scroller, but that's what I didn't. All right, this has the list of every single relationship that bore offspring, you could say, or didn't, or so, and it's about 15 to 20 on here, and even Tim has someone on here. So going back, the first one I remember, Tim, would be Pete Moss. Real quick, Walt's character, Pete Moss, he's an archer ranger. This is the Monty Hall days. I had an NPC, Jolie. She was a ranger. They're both half elves. So I don't even know why he named his character Pete Moss, but they had two children, both half elves. One is named Mulch, the other is named Compost. They're both player characters of Walt's, and he hasn't played him in a long time. Mulch is a bard, fighter, thief, bard, old school, Knight of Ulick, kind of semi-retired now at this point. And Compost was the dark black sheep of the family. He turned out to be a bandit, and that was about all he, right, Bill? I mean, you ventured with Compost a couple times back in the day in Greyhawk.
Oh yeah.
Compost
is now kind of moved into the Grey Company.
Yes, yes, but he hasn't really used them in a while, so we got to get back to utilizing that character. So that was the first one that I can remember with a PC, and we're looking at 81 or 82. This happened. So this is when it first happened. Hey, what's up, Sean? How you doing, geek? So that's when it started. I'm thinking to myself, I got to keep track of all this. So that's when I started doing this chart up, and that led to this. This is the Winchester family tree. I got a lot of notes on it. Okay, so this is the Winchester. This is the Winchester family tree, and you can see it's generational. We're going 4 or 5 generations now. These are a lot of NPCs, but PCs have interacted with them.
Branches might actually interweave. You don't know. They start.
Yeah, just if you notice the tree doesn't fork. That's
That's so funny. So that's how we started doing this, because I figured, man, if we're going to keep this going, keep on playing, we're going to have generational characters. Brian, if you had any offspring at all, and you're going back, I know your thing was more of the traditional hit the adventure path, go up, do the adventure path, start a new group, do the adventure path. So
No, we have not, and I don't know if that's even something that we're going to hit in the free form that we're going to have. Which I want to kind of talk about this later, so we can get into it. But what I plan on doing is having, when we start our secondary group, everybody's going to have a mentor in. So your new NPC, you cannot be the mentor, or your new PC, you cannot mentor your own lower PC. So everybody's going to have to cross over.
That's a great idea. It's a good idea. Really good idea. So you're talking about like a trainer, or you're talking about like someone who like just gives you advice, or
either, whatever one wants to be. So
that's a great idea, man.
I have some mechanics where like some of the experience and whatnot is going to flow to the mentor. That way, when you're not playing that higher level one, you still get some benefits.
Super cool. Well, yeah. Well, you want to discuss some of that aspects of that further on a little bit later. That's fantastic. All right, that sounds good. So here's one for Tim. Go right into it. When Tim had some free time, and it was just Tim and I adventuring together, I DM'd a one-on-one with him with his character Skeeve, and this was in Highport, and Skeeve was like a high-level magic user thief, and it really went. This is open sandbox. Had no idea where this was going.
Yeah, Jay was making up on the fly. He was designing on the fly.
Yes, we have some names of establishments we cannot say online. Yes.
Well, there's fish and chips. That's okay.
Yes,
right?
Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips was one of the locations we can say.
Well, we've already said it before online.
Yes. So Skeeve came up with this idea for a front because he wanted to create a thieves guild in Highport, to fight the evil and the slavers there. And so he had a bakery. And every morning, this very attractive woman would walk in, say hi, buy lots of the tasty things he had in the bread, right? And this went on for months.
And he would be trying to impress her with the bakery because it was like, he can't really show his true hand. He was like, she's lovely.
Yes. Turns out her name was Lady Valencia Page. Now, unbeknownst to Tim, she's a dual-class human as well. Very powerful. In fact, she was the first dual-class illusionist mage in the campaign. But there was one little problem with Lady Valencia Page. And what was that?
She had an amulet of ESP.
Yes, she did. But what was the bigger problem?
The problem, she was married to Lord Page.
Lord Page.
Total tool.
And still alive in my campaign.
Yeah.
A super high-level cavalier whose heraldry symbol is the lightning bolt, right? A cracked lightning bolt on his shield.
Lightning bolt.
Chaotic neutral, very nasty, with a final word broadsword. Who did not take shit from anyone. The slavers, the Pomargians, Ayus, didn't care. He was. This is one of those. It's like Mastrine up in the in the Welkwood near the northern Wild Coast. You don't mess with that guy, and so it is a character that he had to deal with. So over the course of months to a couple years, she ended up fleeing. They fled Highport, and they got together, and we did a nice little druidic. I had a whole adventure on this. We were up in Watertown, right, when this happened, I think. It was you, me, and your dad, and Ed Jim did the ceremony. We did a whole wedding ceremony. Of course, there was some bad guy who tried to kill everyone, but we did that, and now everyone who has been watching for the last month or so has seen their two children adventuring and didn't even know it.
Because they're staying, he has them incognito. So
Yes. So who are they, Bill?
Well, no, God, they just left. A heartbeat. Oh, I'm having a brain fart. They ran away. Once the marching band got burnt to a crisp. the flowers in the attic.
Hugo Stiglitz is their son, and Crystal Ion was their daughter.
Now those are, now, according to Tim, they're not their real names. They're using those names incognito, and that's it. So now they've fled to who knows wherever. But those are the children of Skeeve and Lady Page. Lady Valencia. Now she doesn't use her old last name.
They're
anymore.
almost 20th level magic users of some sort. Both parents.
Right, and
so.
Yes, and this is ultra gaming on our end, but the children are one's 20 and one's 19. One is Hugo's a fighter, right? And Crystal wants to be a bard.
He's a fighter bard.
Yeah, and Crystal is a para elementalist, which is our 6th elementalist specialty spellcaster class.
Yeah.
With a really, really now I have to talk about this, okay? And we won't get into an argument here, but she really. She claims to be lawful good, but this character, she's got something's wrong. Hugo started dating.
Good, but sometimes people who are good make mistakes. They lose their temper. They get too, wound up in something and do something wrong.
So Thunder, I will assign that, or if you're on Thursday night, you can assign that to any character you want. Okay, so you've utilized that. You can give that a regular hero point to any of the characters. If you want me to make it random, we can too. So it's up to you. Thanks for doing that. Hey, these channel points, I had to set it up so it was utilized for something other than putting sunglasses on Bill's head. So she had the waitress, the barmaid, kidnapped and killed.
Well, she wanted her assassinated. Because she was totally distracting her brother from his true calling as a musician, and she saw that he was just getting sidetracked, and she was a slut, and so she wanted to go on the straight and narrow, and she it was a mistake. She shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, you have a screw loose, man.
She's a little.
Talk about stalker.
Interesting story.
Hence, the Flowers in the Attic gang was born. So,
Jay embellished it more than it should be. So she is very intelligent. She would have, But,
that's not lawful. Brian, do you agree with me that is not a lawful good act?
Truth. There's something wrong with. Yeah, she's got something wrong going on.
I will apologize. I've been trying to find this damn Moog encounter because it was during the time when I was doing my Bugbears and
for it?
Well, no, it was during the time when I did my Bugbears and Brews recording. So I have a video recap of this encounter.
Oh, cool.
So
I was just through Bugbears and Brews. That's cool.
So I did find out. I remember it was Pavik the Goliath. Sorry, it's been
the proper response is that no, Tim's right. It's okay.
No.
Yeah. So if you guys want to check out the great things that Brian's doing on his 5e Greyhawk campaign, there's the spot to go to. Plus Bugbears and Brews on YouTube. I should add that too.
The 2 years defunct. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, the Obsidian Portal's not, and it's fantastic. No. Yeah. So these are second generational characters that Tim is actively playing.
Jay, I want to just point out though that when it comes to family, people go a little crazy sometimes.
They were dating. He was dating someone.
Yeah. But she was definitely distracting him from his true calling. So
that's just wrong. I'm telling you.
And she's looking out for his best interest.
Think about this, guys. This is what I have to deal with. So
obviously, I know that's wrong and it's messed up, but that's part of the whole drama of the situation.
Yes. I understand. Ooh, what was that? Oh, that was some feedback there. So that is Tim's one major relationship that I can think of with a PC to an NPC. Now we had PC and PC interactions going on a lot more than we did in the past. So Brian, let me know when you find that, okay? And then we can.
No, I'm sorry. I know the time frame when it is, and I'll actually have to listen to it, so I'll have to figure it out.
So that's a good question too, Thunder. And I'm going to be honest with you on this. Heraldry. I'll answer this one right away. I won't hold off on this one. Heraldry that we got. This is it's less than a year old. So what I realized that we had all made inroads and made relationships with a lot of really cool people. So when I found out that Brian Blumklotz, who's on our Discord server and also runs Cannon Fire on Facebook, and here, if you want to join the Discord server for us, there you go. Right there, please feel free to do it. Yes, not that Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, Brian Blumklotz. He's been on my show a fair number of times. Was an excellent maker of heraldry, and that's when we've always had this symbol. I mean, this symbol goes back. Oh my God! What to Wayne making it in 1986 or 7, actually writing it up, and I had this crappy symbol for all these years. I'm thinking to myself, I got guys who can do this stuff now, and that's when heraldry came in. So we have not developed heraldic symbols for families and crests yet. We have the heraldic symbols I have in the upper left-hand corner. It's the Order of Ulick and all the Order of Ulick spheres of influence. And for the Free City of Altamira, and for the the Selenian Knights of the Swiss Forest Watch. Tim has been developing some from his campaign. We're going to continue to develop more heraldry, but that's a good question. So I haven't gotten to that point yet.
The more I've researched it, the more I can see we're really doing it as a flavor, and it's not the strict heraldic rules that seem to be appropriate. Because I mean, I found out that when you get a coat of arms, that's by individual. It's not by family.
Right.
So it's passed by that person, male heir all the way down. And so one family might have multiple different. So it gets very detailed and convoluted. If you want to, we can go down that rabbit hole as far as you want. But for us, it's mostly just.
Nope, that's not it.
Something that adds flavor and.
See, now I'm going to be almost like Tim was. So we had an older original symbol that we had this symbol. We had that symbol for a while there as a question that we had, and that Mark made up for us for a little bit. So we had that, and I'm trying to find the original one, but it's not popping up on a search. It's got stains on it. It's pretty gross looking, actually. It's just someone who did it in pencil. But that was all we had for decades. So if I come across it, I will share it with you. So heraldry, we're going to do more on it, but you're right. Heraldic symbols are individual, not family based, right? Or not handed.
Well,
down.
there was a family base at some point, and then everyone modified it as generations go on.
Right, but I mean, there's people that say here's the coat of arms and here's the crest, but it's not necessarily legit. From when I was reading, I was like, oh man. So like if you go, hey, I'm this family name, and this is our coat of arms. Nah, that's not probably true at all, really. It's probably, accepted because it's, we don't really have to show our proper papers that we can bear arms,
Right. And we haven't, like I said, hopefully that answers your question, or Thunder. That's a great one, though. We haven't gotten to that level of detail, and we're still working out the kinks. Like in the last 2 years, we've incorporated all the animaps, and we've incorporated this new heraldry, which really along with all the other things we've done, it gives the campaign more flavor and more like life, which is cool. And
I'd say most of it's organizational. Really.
Yes.
Heraldry. It's mostly country, king, and orders. Right?
I think that we'll get a little bit more in. Yes, we'll get more in depth with it because I love heraldic symbols. I love it because here's another thing. I know we're going off on a tangent, but that's okay. And Brian, I think you may agree with me on this. You have your character, whoever it is, a PC, NPC. Unless you can afford an expensive artist, your pick of your character is your figure. because no one can afford a custom art from scratch artistry done. I mean, we have 1,000 characters. It would cost me $500,000 or whatever it would cost. It cost me $50,000 or whatever, because they're going to charge $50 to $100 for full color. I mean, a minimum, correct?
Oh yeah, no, the one I won.
You won one, right?
I won one, and that guy, when I was talking to him, he said he charged $500 for the one.
Yeah. So heraldry is a little bit cheaper than that we can do. So that may answer your question in a roundabout way. That there's organizations we need to do. Like, we still don't have a symbol for the your organization, Bill.
You're talking about the
Hewlett Pathfinders.
Hewlett Pathfinders.
We don't have a sub. We don't have a sub symbol for them. We need a couple more for a couple of other groups that we have that I'd like to get. Anna made one for the Free Reavers that with her permission, she let me use that one. Tim has made some great ones for his campaign up, but we're getting there. We're getting there on that. So, oh, cool, man, that's great. You got that link. So
it adds flavor in a sense of recognition, and I mean, how can you say, hey, there's that guy wearing the same clothes again? No, you can describe their device, and it just, I don't know, adds more flavor. And
yeah, absolutely. So wanted to say hi to Mike and West River, and Tom's on, and Walt was on a bit, and Rox is on. So thanks, guys, for all hopping on here, and all the others. I know we got a lot of crafters on, and this may be foreign to a lot of you guys. Because thank you, by the way. We had a record number of followers last month. We added 255 new followers, which is insane. Thank you so very much. So we love the direction everything's going, and we're all having a blast. So much that Tim agreed to do a Saturday Night Special pretty quickly off the last one. So that's good.
I want people to think I'm a total wuss after that.
So other relationships. I'm trying to think of one that.
I have two brothers.
Go for it.
Pete and John.
Oh yes, okay. Pete and John are iconic now. So we have, and I don't know why. A guy I knew when I was growing up used to sing this doodle song about Pete and John. It was stupid. So I don't know. And I must have told Tim, and he made up two player characters.
You would whenever we'd go somewhere, we'd like go to the generic tavern. It was always Pete and John's Ale House. Pete and John's Ale House, or Pete and John's Restaurant.
Yes.
Or that's what was it would come up over and over again. And I said, you know what? I want to make two characters. Pete and John.
So he has a Pete who's an archer, and John is dual class. They're both humans. He went from necromancer to specialty priest of Bakub.
Yep.
Is that right?
That is right.
And they're kind of cloistered because of Tim's being all over the world, traveling all over the world for his
we got good
career. So they decided to make Pete and John's Teamsters Service, which is an organization that is all over Greyhawk for us. And they are the guys shipping your cargo from Altamira to Greyhawk, from Greyhawk to Hardby or whatever. And it turns out, here's the cool thing. If you ever see the module series Return Expeditions to the Ruin of Greyhawk, it was a 3.5 that came out. We ran it right before we started streaming. There's a new company called Abel Carter Coaching Company in there, and they're based there, and they're based in Diamond Lake, another area we've used. It turns out they've been infiltrated by EA's people, personnel. So right there, you got two Teamster groups. Now you have a rivalry between them, and now you have them.
You would never get infiltrated by IUs.
Well, you wouldn't, but you're also being raided and losing cargo to them, and I actually did adventures on that. So just from Tim's idea of these two brothers came one of the most iconic businesses that player characters have created in our campaign. Bill, can you think of any other businesses, relationship-wise, that has developed out of? I mean, it's iconic.
Well, there's the only other partnership business that was around is upstairs at Sam's, downstairs at Boyd's,
and that's based on an actual bar in Breckenridge, Colorado,
yeah,
where Tim got married.
downstairs at Eric's, right?
Yes, so there's
Good
in
wings.
Altamira. There's a halfling thief. That is Sam. Of course, what a unique name, right? That's Alan's character, and then Walt has Boyd, his gnome cleric illusionist, and one of them has the upstairs part of the bar establishment. The other one has the downstairs part of the bar.
Yeah, one's a restaurant and one's a bar or club.
Yes.
Right?
I remember one of the earliest adventures with Pete and John. We got stiffed, or somebody was like nasty. I think Pete got really badly hurt, and he stiffed us on some money, or didn't pay for healing or something. We managed to raise him or something. It was something that was really unpleasant. And I remember John burned his house down. He got. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was revenge for the way he had done his brother wrong. So
I remember that. So maybe that's where you got the crystal ion thing from. You said the sibling thing. I got to take it one step further.
Yeah, you're like,
oh my gosh.
It's families are. I mean, imagine. All right, anyone who has kids, imagine somebody doing something to your kid, and that just gives you the little spark of intensity of maybe the only surviving family member you have left, or the only one you've known, or you've seen them every day of your life, and the thought of something bad happening or could drive you to do things that you would just never do normally. So
the children, is that at your place, Bill, or at Tim's? Just so we know.
Oh, that's probably upstairs.
Oh, okay, it's all good.
My daughter and son are carrying on.
So I heard your daughter went to see Walt a little while ago.
Yep.
Awesome.
She didn't know that she didn't know that I know him. He's known him the longest that I've all my friends.
Yes. Yes, we do. All right. So, Brian, did you ever have any brothers and sisters or siblings or mother, daughter, father, son teams out there?
We had best friends.
Okay.
I think as close as we got. And the best friends, one was like a second son of a noble house. And then the primary was the second son of a noble house. And the best friend was kind of like the I'm going to ride your coattails type guy. And so there was a lot of you take care of this for me type of deal stuff going on there. But I don't think that's the closest like a relationship prior to.
Okay. Interesting. It's I don't, you know what, I was thinking about this a little bit, that was one thing that I think could have been cool in WoW and World of Warcraft when we played all these years, if they allowed stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was just all your own characters, trees and stuff.
Like they did with
that was Star Wars.
Did that. Yeah, Star Wars did that.
Yeah, I think that would have been a cool concept where you could have had family relations and members.
Yeah, I mean, we've always brought in like NPCs and whatnot to represent the family and that kind of stuff there. But as far as this person being the brother of this person, it's never gone that close.
Okay.
As much as it saddens me.
Definitely. Speaking of sad, Bill, why don't we talk about? And this is going to get to the discussion that Thunder wants to bring up. All the illegitimate children in our campaign.
I don't have any illegitimate children. Well, not that I'm aware of.
There's a whole bunch. Let's
Lots
start.
of bad kids in the campaign.
Let's start with Walt's character, Lena. All right, so Tim remembers Lena. Lena was an original Knight of Ulick, and one of the ones that Walt couldn't have her stay good, and actually at the Tringley Midsummer Festival, she hooked up with, and Lena's a PC, Sir Harn, the champion hero of the county of Ulick, right? And did not stay with him and ended up pregnant by him. And she had two females that are ventured to this day in one of our adventuring groups. And that is Ariana and Honorian, right? So those
the
two.
Doublemint twins.
Yes, my jester calls it, and how he would know what Doublemint gum is, the Doublemint twins. By the way, I want to bring up something. Someone said how one of Alan's favorite comments of all times, right, from Lord of the Rings, from the Two Towers, the words "meat is back on the menu, boys." Right? How does an orc know what a menu is?
I don't think that's. You mean it's from the movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not from the book.
I mean, how do you know? I mean, yes. How do you know it's not from the book? But yeah, that's easy to know. But like, they could have orc restaurants. Right?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes. So good. So Thunder. Yeah. So hey Tom, what's up? So Thunder asked the characters' own land. Yes, we have characters with castles. We have characters with houses. We have characters with business establishments. We have characters with.
We have characters that are rulers of a nation.
We have yes. We have. We're going to get to Mark's character David. Unfortunately, Mark couldn't be on tonight. So we have characters that rule. They're one of the oligarch of a nation in the Shieldlands currently. We have characters own land in our game in various forms. A lot of them are citizens of like Greyhawk City, citizens of Altamira. Not a lot of them have estate lands besides Walt's character Britomar outside of a major metropolis city, as far as I'm aware of. I'm trying to think of some. A lot of them have castles, like right along. And next week we're gonna show you on the map when we discuss the Ulick states and the Lortmill Mountains, all the castle defenses. And we've been adventuring in them. You have Winchester's Bulwark. You have Warmonger's Tower. You have the White Tower. They're all owned by player characters. So yes, there's a lot of land out there. Yes, as far as hereditary goes, absolutely. And so you had those two. Now, Andrea Winchester, here's a good one. No one knows who the father is of her child, Alexis. Alexis is in the Slavers group now. She's like an 8th level Knight of
We know who it is. It's Garth Warmonger.
Yeah, doubtful. According to Garth. According to Garth it is. But she's illegitimate. Other illegitimate characters in the campaign. Emerson Winchester, ex-wife Dana has Fritz. Fritz is illegitimate. Everyone knows Fritz.
Well, I mean, it's whether it's bad or not. I guess depends on whether they're recognized or not by the
right. And if you're thinking of
somebody of high noble rank or high social level, if they recognize the bastard, then it's.
What was the campaign that was all night based that they had?
Birthright.
What's that?
Birthright.
Birthright. If this was a Birthright campaign, it would be much more of a problem. Or if it was Arthurian. I don't know if in a Greyhawk base that it matters as much as it does in that kind of campaign. What do you think on that, Brian? For an illegitimate character, I don't think it. In our Greyhawk setting, if it's not a noble.
I think we have one noble person. I mean, it's so like for us, I'm getting ready to introduce the concept of the stronghold type situation, and they're going in with a blank slate. They're going to have to decide as a group of what it's going to be because they're going to manage it as a group. But we have one person that is a noble, and that's it. Everybody else is just kind of see here. Retired merchant sailor, pirate, mercenary for hire, devotee of a hunter. It's going to be interesting to see what they come up with because there's not a lot of commonality there.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that we're correct on this. So that's our definition of illegitimate. So I have to stop 1 second again. Shinohari is on Bill, one of the ones that wants all of Jeff's characters on Monday night to die, right? Shinohari's a crafter as well. Bill is my crafter. Bill's our game crafter. So all the custom terrain you see on our map, all on our boards, all the little knickknacks that are done, all the painting that's done, it's all his work. And so, but he does not want to stream it. So
No.
he's not going to stream his work. Unfortunately, I've tried even doing him do a show once every 6 months, and he says no. So, but now,
Too much work.
but during this show, he will do his work out in his garage and do his thing, and so that's what he.
That's why you only see the top of my head.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see. Yeah, so. Yes, well, that's up to Marco to kill Jacob's characters on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Mark goes at 6 p.m. All right, so back to the illegitimate. I got two more.
I was gonna
Go for it.
to say it really doesn't matter as much in our D&D campaign, because D&D it's a meritocracy. I mean, you can be a second level high ranking noble, and it doesn't matter. The 10th level dude who's raised in a sewer is still gonna stomp you half to death and take all your stuff. I mean, so it's a meritocracy because of the levels thing. So
Okay.
the rest of the role playing and how structured your world is, because if you make it structured enough, messing with that second level noble can be like the worst thing your party ever did.
Oh yeah.
And you never get out of jail, and it's a problem.
That's true. That's really true, and we see a lot of that in Hardby, right? Look at the trouble that is going through
Because it's structured. Because of the way you run it, there's a structure and there's consequences for
Yes,
breaking the laws and things like that.
and because it's such a crazed place with all the these judges and Alita and all the other ones, it's a problem for those characters. It's as been seen by our favorite character of all in coming out, and we I wish Mark would develop a little more of a background of him, Michael Baton. And you want to talk about relationships in a negative way? Is Michael the number one? Is Michael surpassed Fritz and Gilthinus as the number one hated character, Bill?
Oh, I hate Michael.
Fritz
When Mark plays Michael, I hate Mark.
Fritz is a minor irritation compared to just Michael Baton.
Fritz is only around because we haven't bothered to kill him yet. Michael's a troublemaker.
Michael tried making trouble in the last 2 weeks that we did, but I threw a curveball on you guys, right, for that group. So, but Michael is the PC in a relationship that is negative. Now, we have two NPCs, Gilthinus, which is Swain's son. We haven't even gotten there yet. And Fritz, which is an illegitimate son of Dana Coldwell. Emerson Winchester III, an NPC of mine, a fallen paladin, who fathered the last two characters I'm about to talk about. That's where all this stuff is now intertwined, right? So we got all this crazy stuff going on. So Emerson Winchester fathered a child with Corellia Crakespone, one of the other Bills, and we all know the other Bill's character, Corellia. Unfortunately, he stopped playing. It's got to be 10 years ago, right? And Samanda, the undead hunter in the Omega Patrol, that's she, okay? And then another character out of Hardby, Joanna Tessely, the Inquisitor of Ouija, right? Another character, he fathered both of them, both illegitimate. So, and they're both NPCs now in the campaign. So it's a lot of, what I try and do is when I develop new NPCs for interaction. And here's another thing, guys, you may see a little differently. All of us, the tabletop guys, not Bill, not Brian. Brian doesn't do it this way. Tim does it this way as well. We run NPCs in the adventuring party. That's how we interact. That's our way we do a little interacting. And it works. It works for us. Brian's a little different with his style, but that's cool, right?
Yeah. It kind of started because sometimes we'd go back and forth DMing with the same characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we were younger, that's how it started, really, and then.
Well, I think we did it. I did it a lot because I wanted to be able to. I don't want to say lead people by their noses, but I wanted to be able to have that one-on-one interaction at moment's notice in the campaign. Instead of bringing a character in who they're talking to on the street and a bartender, and that bartender's gone. I kind of like the way it works for us. It's our NPC style's a little different. So Brian, how about yours? Do you ever occasionally, you'll run someone who's hired or Who's hiring the
so
party?
I will have NPCs follow the group, and what happens whenever we're fighting. I will describe like each turn order. Oh, they're doing this or they're doing that. They're kind of always holding people off or making sure that people don't attack the mounts and that kind of stuff there. So the NPCs are always painted in the background, and they will travel with the group. But as far as them getting involved with combat, unless it's a night where I am down to
Yes.
3 or 4
You
players,
need someone.
that's the only time they ever come in. Like I said, like on an average night we have 6. Most nights we have 7. We have 8 players at the table total. So that's a nice thing with 8 players. You're normally missing maybe 1 person, possibly 2. So it's normally a 6 or 7 table. So the nights that we do have everybody there, it's a little like, it's going to be a tight table, just because it's so many people, bodies around the time, bodies around the table, and you just gotta make sure everybody has their time to shine.
Do you see it being a possible hindrance with too many characters, Brian? Like, I know our style's like foreign, but with 1E2, I like the way it works in tabletop. Sometimes we have, there's a limit. I think with the way we play, if we go beyond 10, sometimes it gets a little difficult. Total characters. I'm not talking about players. I'm talking
10's a lot.
10's a
10
lot.
characters is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: when you have a table the size of the nights that we have 8 people and we're running combat, combat is going to take up a better part of the night. And me as a role play DM, it's with 8 people, combat's not exactly fun, because I either have to throw in some really, really big stuff, which has a chance of killing them, or because of the way 5e works, it's pretty much action economy. So whoever has the higher action economy wins the battle. So I'd have to throw in quite a bit of bad guys to even have it an even fight. So at that point, it just kind of becomes a bit of attrition. It's like, all right, are we done yet?
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. That discussion on, because once again, the only times I played 5e ever have been the 3 times you've DM'd for me. So
And
that's
one of those times I did literally throw 24 bad guys at you guys.
yeah. All the lizard men.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I moved them as groups.
It was rough. So here's a little tidbit you both of you, everyone watching may not know. I have 2 of my Saturday Night Special DMs on right now, right? Brian being one and Tim being the other one. So Tim, you run NPCs in yours too, and they interact very well with the characters. Why don't you describe a little bit of what your idea is behind in your city-state campaign?
Originally it wasn't the city-state campaign. We just eventually went there and stayed there, and some of the biggest, longest, high-level slug, fighting. Cartha Radu was the big bad guy that you were fighting and finally defeated, and then you just stayed. When we started out, I wanted to have a party where I always thought it would be cool where we picked a unifying feature in the party, like everyone's a spellcaster of some sort, or everyone's a thief, or everyone's a fighter. Would it be cool if everyone was a monk? That'd be pretty wild.
Not for Skagith. Don't ever say that around Skagith.
Whatever. I just thought it'd be fun to have some sort of thing. And the only one who kind of was on board with it was Walt, and Thief is the least strenuous in pushing things, and that's why there's 4 people with Thief class. Half the party is a Thief class.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have NPCs in there, it would be like a non-starter, really.
I didn't even realize that was the whole. Okay.
And then you were you're like, no, I'm going to be a Cavalier Paladin.
No, that's not true. She didn't start off. I had a Clark Ranger. I had her brother Drexel who died. Don't you remember? She was an original character. I had Kixano and Drexel Tadius, and Drexel died from brown mold. And then I made Dervillia up afterwards.
I do not remember that.
Yes. She was not an original character, Dervillia. Yep, absolutely.
So I killed your one character early?
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right. I like Dervillia. I love Dervillia.
I didn't even remember it.
Yep. See the things I remember. All right. So let's talk about some of the nicer relationships we have here. So Bill, Can you
Yes,
do
sir.
me one big favor? So that Shinohari should. You think I should kill more characters? Well, we'll see. Remember, I have a group of my guys have been playing together so long. We have kind of a deal here. Can you show us at least something you're working on, just real quick?
Well, nothing's ready. Here, I can show you these.
Here we go, Shido. He's going to show us something right now. Just a little tidbit.
I was inspired by something that DM Scotty did and Black Magic Craft both did something similar. So I made these cocoons with spider eggs all over them.
Oh, that is super cool. See? That's the cool shit we get from Bill. That is, wow.
I do not want to be there with that.
Working on a drider.
There you go. Is that one of our bones driders, or what is?
Yes. It's a spider queen.
Yes. So that's some of the things that he's working on for me. So.
Well, you can't imagine why I would work on a drider and giant web things, huh? or a dark elf queen throne that's finished. You never know.
You have to have that handy.
Yeah, so he's Shido. He's good. He's good at what he does. Let me tell you something. If you saw on Thursday night that pumpkin patch, that was awesome. The pumpkin patch he did, that was super cool. Just off the beat, and his son's idea, and he made it and brought it, and I incorporated it. So yes, absolutely. So let me see. I'll use NPCs for casual players who aren't in town. Oh, that's a good idea. As it happens twice, parties let the character die when the player was due back in town. Well, I look at it this way. An NPC that is either a thorn in the side or is a source of information or is a source of a romance interest grows the campaign because there's more interaction between characters. That's the way I look at it. So, I'll give you an example. We have... I won't want to say it's the longest running love fest in the history of our campaign, but it's pretty damn close. Mark's character, David Gradavis II, is a paladin. Is he specialty priest? I forget which one came first. He's a dual class human.
Paladin Cavalier.
No,
Paladin.
Fighter Paladin / specialty priestess of Ilmater. Okay. Dual class. He's been courting one of the Winchesters on his family tree here. Ashley Winchester, right there. There's Ashley. For, in real life, I want to say 25 years. 25 years. So, starting last year when we started streaming, and all this stuff went down, and we're going to go back to the Shieldland soon and get even have some more stuff go down. And David, it was called Events Before David Gradavis' Wedding. He proposes like every year. She finally said yes, right? So this NPC character that he's been, I think I have pictures for him up here. Let me get to him real quick. And once again, we have pictures of figure. Oh, jeez, I can't move. Look, I can't move the right thing. I can't move the background. I hate that.
Killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry that it makes you there. I'm gonna move that down just a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right. Here we go. There they are. David and Ashley, old figures. So, and they're older now, but this courtship has been going on for decades in real life, and I finally gave in as a NPC. She just was like, I don't think he just wore her down, right? But now
he's dedicated.
Yes,
he knows he's like totally legit. He's dedicated.
Yes, humans. So
But she's got to move to the Shieldlands. That's the problem.
You get to a certain age, and I think you have a different perspective on life. Remember, her older sister's Andrea Winchester, so she's like, I don't want to end up like Andrea, right? A little overbearing, crazed. So there you go. Now they don't have any children yet. They just got married. It's a year ago in game time. Great question, Thunder. That's a great. Any characters die from natural causes? That is a great question too. Almost. We have that. Tim has a character. His name is Glamdring. He has an early death. He's human, age 66. Well, he almost got there, but longevity, some things with age.
Well, they reworked the timeline.
Yeah, it kind of requirked the timeline just a little bit, but yeah, he was close. 6 years away. We have some half-orc characters getting up there in age, too close. So it's close, and I have a lot on this list. Here's another one. This is a true NPC. I have Elijah Winchester the First. He is 108. Okay, human. We adventure right now in Greyhawk with Elijah Winchester the Fourth. All right. So we're getting there, but he's not really a player. He's always been an NPC. So the answer is characters get up there in age. They do. We have a character who was an ex-antithesis in the campaign. Her name used to be the Claw. She's pre-Macarash. This is like Monty Hall days. And she repented, and her name's Klar, and she's like 98 years old, and she's still holed up in Wales Castle, just living out the end of her years. So we have these ancient characters running around. Well, not running around, but you know what I'm saying. Yes, there's old age is coming, and by the time I retire from my real job, maybe we'll have that. So, Brian, what's the oldest character anyone's ever played in your campaign as far as that? You ever have anyone play any?
So last D&D campaign we did before we took the year Star Wars break, Evil Tim played a guy named Fitz, who was a retired hitman. So he was like late 50s, early 60s.
Cool.
So sadly, Fitz ended up committing suicide because nobody understood the character concept. And that was a whole issue of the player keeping the concepts too close to themselves versus just telling everybody, like, hey, here's the concept, here's what's going on. Because the character was supposed to be very secretive, but he was attempting to play it secretive and not telling the table why he's doing the actions. And so it just led to a bit of strife.
So he jumped in the pit?
He jumped into a waterfall, which then led to lava down below.
He jumped in a pit like Bill, the other Bill, not this Bill. The other Bill jumped to Arabella Hotforge, and when she broke her Dwarven thrower, and she just jumped in, and that was, and she's still falling to this day. So we've had PCs commit suicide. Wow, kill themselves for no reason. But it sounds like, so what did he say? He just, to spite everyone, he goes, "I'm just going to kill the character off."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
he came
crazy.
back the following week with another character, and
that's insane. But all right, well, new character.
What's to make it fun?
Yeah. So some other PC on PC with the same people. This one's interesting. Another relationship, and this character just started.
Say that
playing.
again. Some other PC.
All right.
on...
Tom has his character Tom the Vindicator, one of his very first characters, the fighter mage. You've all seen him adventuring, Watcher's Towers adventures. He had an ex-girlfriend years ago, and it's not the irony of it's kind of the same name as Bill's wife's name, but it's Sherry instead of Sherry. Sherry the Mystic. We've all seen Sherry the Mystic adventure. She's also a fighter mage. She's Clark Mage or whatever. She's another Knight of Ulick. So Tom had both those characters, right? Tom marry each other off, and he has a character who we've used in the newest group, Thomas the Younger. The son of them is now adventuring in the Winchester's Bulwark series. The Bloody Brethren, Thomas the Younger, his fighter mage, is a generational character from those two, but it's two PCs of their own. I let it go, and this is like 1986. They got hooked. So we're talking about, once again, what, 35? I can't even add 33 years ago, right? Well, yes, exactly. So, it's a cool thing. Yeah, you've never. Greg, you've never seen characters commit suicide. The look on my face was, Bill, you remember that, right? When the other Bill just jumped.
Yeah, the best part of it is we got our choice of treasure picks after the adventure was over, and one of the items was a Dwarven thrower.
Yeah, so he would have replaced that weapon. She would have replaced that weapon. So we got one of
Well, yeah,
our.
I even made a joke piece of terrain all about it.
Hopefully, Game Holcom was good. Yes, you did. Yes, you absolutely did. It's kind of like the Sarlacc pit in that adventure, and it was a never-ending pit. So, I can see where if you have character, and you see, Brian's playing at a game store, right? So you have people who do not hang out or know each other for years, right? And it's a little different then.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. So while we play at a game store, we do have 3 tables, and the tables are relatively, set. The guys that I've been playing with, some of them I've been playing with since the launch of 5e, and then everybody else, like the person who's been there the shortest has been there maybe 3 years. So even though we're at a game store, we are pretty much a solid group. So
Cool.
we haven't done it in a while, but we used to for a little bit there, do once a month at somebody's house that lived close to the game store. We stopped doing that recently, but something we might
Plus,
get
you were going to
back
use the VTT for a bit, weren't you? Use Fantasy Grounds once every month or something.
the winter months. We try to do it
Okay.
just to give people a break from driving and that kind of stuff there. And bad weather during winter, we'll use that as well, which I was kind of putzing around with it a little bit while we were talking here.
That's all good, man.
I can't imagine how Michigan weather would be tough in the winter.
Oh, no, it's not like we didn't have snow on Halloween.
Oh, jeez. Oh, well, I know my brother-in-law lives in Traverse City, and they got slammed, right?
Well, Traverse City's 3.5 hours north of us, so a little different.
So, back to the discussion, Tim. How about think of PCs you have. Your guys are pretty, and I don't use the word androgynous, but you guys don't attempt to, except for the Lady Ventura thing. Why don't you explain
Lady
that?
Ventura. Yes, Cerastus is a half-elf cavalier, but he's in love with the Lady Ventura. I just made, on the character sheet it said loves, and so I wrote down love, in love with the Lady Ventura, and I just made the name up.
Right.
A gray elf, noble lady who would not probably have anything to do with him as a half elf, but he's in love with it because I've been reading Arthurian romance, and so the unrequited love, and pining after someone who seemed appealing for a cavalier. So he's still after her, and I know she paid a little attention to him last time.
Yes, at the announcement of the next one I'm going to talk about, I forced this one for comedy relief, kind of, because it's so the Samanda Crakesbone, who's the bastard daughter of Corellia and Emerson Winchester III, right?
Marrying another Winchester,
is marrying Elijah Winchester III and Sharice's third and final child, Jake Winchester, who Bill thinks is the what do you call him? The stool seed of the Winchester.
No, if there's a stagnant section of the gene pool.
So when we did that adventure where they had to go off, if you remember that during the adventure, the New God it was called. That adventure, and I did it at this big at the Vineyard Gardens and announced this engagement. I kind of wanted to get all the characters together, do some high level interaction. That was kind of the comedy thing. Well, I already have a child for next year and our 40th anniversary already planned in the next year 623. So there you go. Already it's in the works, guys. But that's two player character NPCs.
I don't know. I was thinking of Jay when you said they're not androgynous, but I have a Sir Reginald. He's married, isn't he?
No.
I know that at one point we were talking about somebody. He's like, I gotta get married, and I think he actually asked somebody, but I don't remember all the characters.
I don't remember him asking anyone.
Oh yeah. He's gotta have offspring.
I know. Sir Reginald has the record longest name in the history, I think, of all D&D games. I'm going to say it because I have it memorized, and the name is Sir Reginald Rathmore David Errol Champier IV, Defender of the Faith and Vanquisher of the Unrighteous. I said it all correctly.
Yeah.
So how many letters is that? 100? Who knows? But that's his name.
You didn't have the
well,
you didn't have the correct accent, but that's
you
fine.
need to play him more, and you need to start looking to court someone in the course of the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure we did that at one point, but we probably just didn't take.
I don't remember. I remember a lot of things. I don't remember that. I think you were just saying he needs to do something. I was saying, well, get at it, man. You know. So here's a player character.
It'll probably be an NPC because all these characters are just nasty.
Here's a player character crossover. Bill and Alan came up with one of the most disturbing concepts for two characters.
They're the sweetest couple of all time.
Yes. So go ahead, Bill. Explain. Moreau and Juliana Darkbeam.
Well, there couldn't be anything more disturbing than a dark elf and a deep gnome and the throttles of deep passion.
Forbidden love.
Yes. So
I mean, he doesn't cast change self for any girl, you know.
There are each player characters in our group, the Omega Patrol.
Hey, dark elves have no limits.
Did the Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil, my version of it, not that stupid 3rd edition one, and I did the Durbanford campaign, which was really cool. I put that in Grand March. So Moreau is Romeo mixed up, and Juliana obviously is, Romeo and Juliet. You get the idea. So we have a dark elf female cleric. What is she? Cleric mage?
Cleric mage.
And then Moreau is an illusionist thief?
Illusionist thief.
You have a deep gnome and a dark elf. They escaped the Underdark, and they came up because they are in love with each other. It's really, very sickening, but it's kind of funny. So
it's not sickening.
Yeah, it is. But it's a cool concept for characters. They came up with it.
When they get too close, the dark elf asks the gnome to blur, and then it's all better.
Yeah, so that's another one in our campaign that is 2 separate player characters that have interacted. Let's see here. I have another one between Alan and Walt. This ended in divorce in D&D. So this is our first real divorce, I think. Alan has, and I think this is a town somewhere near you, Brian. Zizix, ZZYZX. I think he took that from somewhere. It's like the last proper worded name that there can be in existence. So the character's name is Zizix. He's a Alan loves dual class humans. Dual class archer mage, which is nasty. Walt has Ambril Elodwin, a gray elf fighter mage. They both live in Altamira. They both were members of the Magic Users Guild. They're both Knights of Ulick, so they got along, and they got married, a human and a gray elf, and they have 2 children. They're both, Walt is adventuring both of them now, and their names are Zachary and Jensine, and they are no, wait a minute. Jensine is Alan's. They each took one, right?
Yes.
Yes. Jensine is the priestess of God.
Falcon?
The priestess of Falcon, and Zachary's a fighter cleric mage. They're both half-elves, and they're in that Bloody Brethren group as well. And
who left who?
What's that?
Who left who?
That is a bone of contention. It's pretty funny.
I mean, a gray elf just had to wait long enough, and it would self-resolve. I mean,
it is one of the neither of them admit to being the one that left. They each say the other one did it. So, but they ended up. They separated all their assets. So we had divorce in the game, which is really, when you think about it, kind of cool. So Zizix stayed as head of the Magic Users Guild. Ambril left Altamira and moved to Greyhawk, and is now part of the doing stuff in Greyhawk and in the Shieldlands, and that's where it went. So
even his elf, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of half elves running around. So
I mean, they can. It's a little tryst, but come on. One of them lives 1,000 years. The other one lives less than 100.
So we've had it all. We haven't had matricide yet. We have not had that, but I guarantee you, one will be coming in the campaign, and I bet you Bill knows what I'm talking about.
Matricide?
Yes. There's an engagement right now. We don't have to worry because he'll never watch this.
You mean killing the
Okay.
mother?
So here's the story. Alan has a character in the campaign, Torque Storm. I'll even, because he'll never watch this. Torque Storm is a Sylvan Elf fighter. In fact, Bill's character Alanor is made based on that character, according to Alan. Just
According to
Alan. He's a high strength Sylvan Elf fighter. There's the Inn of the Lonely Dove, which is right on the main street in Altamira, and he's gone there. He went there every day, because Dove Elfhart lives there. She's been married twice. Both her husbands have died under mysterious circumstances. Well, she's now engaged to him. And this has been going on at least 15 years in the game time. So I'm working on
as long as I've been around.
As long as you've been around, it's been going on. And we may see that in our 40th anniversary celebrations. This wedding may happen. So I guarantee you, like I said, he's husband number 3.
Little Black Widow.
We shall see. But just another fun thing that I've thrown in there years ago, and I've been working on it. See, Brian, the stuff you miss when you're not here. Mattress, divorces, mattress. Oh, we have it all.
Yeah, it's a little heavy for our fart jokes and Orcish battle bow ties.
We have that. We have fart jokes all.
You don't have Orcish battle bow ties.
No, we don't have that. In fact, I walked through a crop dust on Thursday that I thought I was going to die. Right, Bill?
It was bad.
It was bad.
I don't know who did it. Terrible.
Okay, let me
see. Did I ever
see.
tell you the Orcish battle bow tie?
No, I've never heard of that. But if you so choose to do that, that's fine. This is a very casual night, as you can see, everyone.
This was a very brief torture scene in the campaign that we've had this year, and the Orcish battle bow tie is a technique, and everybody's always curious about the Orcish rage, and so this isn't really what happens with the orcs, but this is how we pass it off is. The orcs tie a rope really, really tight around their swans, and they can't untie it until they're done with the battle. And so they have this fury because if they don't complete the battle in time, their dick's gonna die.
Who came up with that?
I came up with the name.
Oh my God!
It's like they do that for horses when they're bucking broncos. They put something tight over their.
Yeah.
I thought that I had all the whack jobs, and it's not true.
No,
Every campaign has them.
No, I came up with the name, but what happened is they captured a half orc and they knocked him unconscious. The half orc was being really, really not useful, and so one of the party members stayed afterward and tied the bow tie around his schwanz. That way he was passed out, and they were hoping that he would just sleep long enough that the blood would just die in it. And
okay, I don't. Yeah.
Hey, that doesn't make the tongue tool seem as gross.
Yeah, that definitely. Wow.
I mean, the tongue tool, instead of having that, we had somebody shove their fist in the caster's mouth to keep him from talking.
I've seen that in movies. I've seen that. That's believable. I mean, look at what happened. What movie is it that that Steven Seagal movie? He puts the shotgun thing right in the guy's mouth. I've seen that.
When Ski was doing the solo adventures, he captured a guy who was a cleric.
Here we go.
Talk to him, and the cleric started talking, and I knocked him. I think I knocked him back in his chair. He was tied up, and I cut his tongue out right down his spine.
Yeah, I remember that. See,
you're like,
good NPC relationships there.
Yes, absolutely. But then again, we all have those, and we get into the campaign, which is kind of a little disturbing. A little.
Because
sorry about the direction this went, guys. Everyone.
Because we are in Greyhawk, you are allowed to use Orcish battle bow tie. It's now canon.
Well, how about you put that up on the site for us all to
share? It would be like a special elite commando.
Oh my gosh!
Unit. You can't finish.
It's actually funny. It's actually funny.
It's like you arrive to the new world and you're going to fight. You burn the ships. There's no hope. There's no going back. You got to win. There's always that little incentive. And so knowing that your junk may rot and fall off, that's incentive to win fast.
Yeah.
Wow. It's kind of
effective,
an interesting
it's effective
concept.
orcish leadership.
Man,
It's effective.
I'm
I would
like,
say hobgoblins would be more inclined to it.
I'm like seriously disturbed now by that, but that's okay.
I think hobgoblins would be more into that because they're into the whole take the pain thing.
Yeah, but it's okay. Brian has coined a term, and maybe we'll get it placed. I'll discuss that at GaryCon.
Brian,
Oh,
is it
Brian
okay
may be
if I
going to
use that?
GaryCon, guys. Hey,
Brian, is it okay if I use that term?
of course you can.
So,
It may not be in Greyhawk, but I may use that term.
yeah, no, use it. It's great. You know,
All
Sounds
right.
like a good mongrel thing.
Yeah, or something. Yeah. Well, if we got the mongrels coming, I'm a little worried as well. I got 2 more relationship groups, and then we can get on to organizations here. 2 more, and then I don't even want to know about what the next. Oh my God, Battle Bowtie! It's so funny. We have actually a relationship that has given 2 of them that have given us 3 children that are all player characters. Alan's character Herbie the White, who has the White Tower in the Principality of Ulick, for the Order of Ulick, married a character named Victoria Abdalis. She's an NPC. They have 3 children: Hessler, Liesel, and Heidi, all in separate adventuring groups. I don't know why he went German, but that's what he did. So Alan has all 3 of those, and they're all player characters, all in separate groups. He used them every like 2 to 5 years, brought them out. So it's kind of like a really cool generational thing. And then Mark's character Swain, with his bring over Lorana from Dragonlance, which I'm not going to go into that discussion tonight. That'll take forever to discuss. Has Alicia Markham, who I NPC now. She's an Order of Ulick. Gilthanas, one of the most hated characters in the campaign. He's a duelist. And Ember Alta, a player character that Mark plays. So there's 3 characters from that as well. But we have one I have saved for last, and there's a reason. Why is that, Bill?
I don't know.
yeah, you always ask these questions in
It
like,
involves you.
It involves me. Why are you talking about Marcus and Kieran Winchester?
Yes! Because they never were officially married. It was kind of like a, they never
It's just an assumed justice is the peace sort of thing. Yeah.
kiss the. See, look, Greg Illustrian knows "kiss the guns" is Gilthanas' favorite term. He has the guns, and he goes, I know you want to kiss the guns. So, all right, go. No, go. You gotta go shut the doors. Go. Thank you.
we wanted some Shane play-by-play.
Shane, yeah, no Shane play-by-play tonight. It's a Sunday night, and he's got to get to sleep. All right, so the Iron Brigade, the top-rated adventuring group in almost all of the Flanists that we have. They've done everything. They've freed Tensor. They've stopped an Ayu's army. They stopped the original Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue in the campaign. They've done it all. Super high-level characters, like 12th, 11th level. That's high level for us. So Marcus, go ahead. Explain Marcus Camara to the party, everyone, and why he's such a nasty character. Bill,
Marcus is the greatest character ever. That's why. No, Marcus Cavalier Paladin, and I mean the only reason he's one of the nastiest fighters around because he has Tensor's Boots of the Running Warrior. I mean that's there's a lot of fighters that do more damage than him, but he's I think is he 11th or 12th now, Cavalier Paladin.
It's one of those 2. So you know how what annoys me in 5e is you can attack and then move, or move halfway, attack and move. Well,
You mean one of the most glorious things about 5e?
He has Tensor's Boots of the Running Warrior, which he got in Return of the 8, which allows him to do that thing. He's only like one of the only characters in the entire campaign that can do that in 1e2e rules, especially with miniatures rules. I think you have 15-inch movement as well, correct?
As well, yes.
So he's a Cavalier Paladin. Karen Winchester, she's on this family tree. She's the oldest. Karen, there it is. Yeah, it's K-R-I-N. Yep, that's how it's spelled. She is a monk. Hopefully Skagith isn't on. She's one of 3 children, Jake, Elijah IV, and Karen. She felt the need to have a family at some point. And Marcus, and I talk about this in an article I wrote in their journal, Marcus was involved with Shayla from Corell and Zaros, and then just one serendipitously just dumped her and never explained why. And why was that?
I don't know because you told me to. No, wouldn't you? Hey, a crazy chick with a tattoo on her forehead, or a monk who's very flexible? Come on now.
Yes. So
Homewrecker.
they have a 3-story house near the High Market in Greyhawk. All the lawful goods live there. Tim's dad John has Abdul who lives there, but he's also off of Mariel a lot. Who Anna Meyer plays Mariel whenever she adventures in our campaign. Now they have a child. Here's the issue. The child's still unnamed because one thinks it should be a Chimera and one thinks it should be a Winchester. Now we're stuck.
Just do the hyphenation thing.
No, what whole idea?
Give him the first name.
We don't even know if it's we haven't rolled for sex or anything. Obviously human, but we haven't done that. So
you gotta do a hyphenation.
Yes.
And the kid's almost 2 years old.
Yep. No, not. Let me see the date. I got it right here. No, a year, just going to be a year at the end. Because remember, the year squeezed down.
We did,
so
right.
year old.
Well, you could do it male, the father's name, female, the mother's name. If you want to be weird that way.
So we have not named this sibling, this child yet. So we'll see what happens there. I have a feeling that the relationship's going to go like this, but who knows? So, but that's the way it goes in the world of, it's just like real world stuff. So Thunder brings up a great question about, I want to talk about this. Platonic relationships. We have two best friends in that same adventuring group. Go ahead, Bill, discuss them.
Oh, Trevin and Brolin, the greatest adventurers ever.
Trevin is Bill's character. And what is he?
Specialty priest of Tritherion.
And my NPC Brolin is a specialty priest of Clangeddon Silverbeard. They go to the Gold Digger. I believe that's the name of it, right?
Yep.
And they talk about all the war wounds they have. They've all lost multiple limbs. They've had eyes gouged out. They've had fingers removed, all sorts of stuff. And they sit and they drink and they talk the good times. And now they're members of the Iron Brigade, but they have kind of moved to Narwhal, and explain what's happened there, Bill. Why don't you do that? Well,
Trevin built a temple for the better, I guess that's what we call it, and of Tritherion, and they've become affiliated with the Narwhal Headhunters. And that's they've kind of taken the Headhunters under their wing, so to speak, to provide them support. And they kind of run that little section of town now.
Absolutely. And so you have a platonic relationship here. You have two best friends, a human and a dwarf, with same fighting styles, damn the torpedoes fighting style. And it's been like one of the big friendships there. Thunder, I wanted to discuss that one for you. That's a purely platonic relationship. And that's the direction you can go with it. And then you develop, and kind of the same way with Pete and John, but with their brothers. Kind of a similar thing. It becomes iconic in the campaign because they're always like Bill will not run Trevin if I don't use Brolin and vice versa. You can never use them. You can never use them separate. You have to have both those characters in the group for that adventure, or neither of them's going. Kind of a cool thing. You ever have anything like that, Brian? Have a locked, real tight friendship in any of the campaign, any game,
including that best friend duo,
right? But they were best friends in real life, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
It was kind of interesting because one of the best friend duo turned out to be because we had brothers that played at the table. One of the brothers can't make it anymore, but he was part of it, and then one of the other players. So even though they set up this best friends duo, and he didn't even do it with his brother, he did it with another player.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think Fensick and Gazumba are good buddies. I think
absolutely, but Hawk and Gazumba are the best friends. But Fensick and Gazumba, that whole group, Fensick, Leuven, Hawk, and Gazumba are like the four amigos, right?
Yeah.
They all adventure together.
Hey, we need you. That's like we're there.
Yes, because Gazumba has gone through a lot. He got married to a higher house elven female Sirene, and she got sucked into a sphere of annihilation. So Gazumba, the head of the Order of Ulick, is a widower. Then he had the unfortunate thing after coming off of that to be with Lena for about a year, and that would drive anyone crazy, right? Walt's character Lena. So he was with her for a year. And then she went completely off the deep end. So he's got all these. He's really been concentrating on
But he's
his
still a
work.
very eligible bachelor.
Yes, and now if we go through that as well in that discussion, you have Mark's here. Okay, so the far left is Gazumba, then you have Hawk, then you have Temporal, who's been actually courting Gazumba a lot, and then you have Fensick, right? There you have some of those characters in that picture, and so now Temporal, who's one of the area commanders for the Order of Yuluk, and that's Mark's character's been kind of courting Gazumba all these years. We'll see if that goes anywhere. Like I said, we don't go. I'm going to be blunt on this. We have never, ever gone into graphic sexual discussion ever. Correct, guys?
Yeah,
it's not about that. So
No.
Never.
There's no need for that.
I don't allow rape thing. I don't allow that stuff. It's not. We got guys who talk a big game. Oh, I banged her, whatever. You know what I mean? But that's.
The Moog love scene was about the only time that we got down to that talk.
Right, and so it's not.
That was more because it was comical. Thinking of a hill giant mountain.
Right. Well, that's kind of like that thing where they had the movie where they had the puppets doing all the sex scenes. Right? Remember that? Team World Police or whatever. Yeah, they did that. Yeah, that's kind of like in jest, right? So that's kind of what you did there. So it's never been about that for us. Team America World Police. It's never been about the actual. We're all adults, or at least I think.
D&D, it's a fantasy game. We're not here to.
No, all of us here are married. We all have great wives.
We don't need a twist.
No, all of us. Every one of our players, right? We're all married. We all have families. It's not about that for us. It's about playing with your friends and enjoying each other's company and
telling a story.
Telling the story. So it's never been about that. So please don't. It's not a thing I would tolerate or I would ever do. So all right. Platonic, if you guys come up with your platonic ones. Brian, I know you wanted to bring up something. You said you're going to hold off. What was that discussion?
Oh, the whole mentor.
Let's
thing.
talk about that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have all these characters and whatnot. So has there ever been a mentorship? Because like I said, that's something I'm working on finalizing the system as we're approaching like 6 levels, probably when I'll start to introduce the second group. But the plan is to everybody has to pick a mentor, and then the mentor feeds off of some of the XP of the other character. You can't be your own character's mentor and that kind of stuff there, just to kind of give that that relationship, that kind of aspect there.
I've thought of some things as some of my characters age out, like they get really old. Leuven's getting way up there, and I see him kind of like being like the old bachelor, like Bilbo was. And
kind of, yeah. But
being
you can't stop adventuring unless Sam retires.
Right, I know, but he can be a patron to somebody, like a mentor, where he can,
I brought this into test in the newest adventuring group. We did the Bloody Brethren we have in that Winchester. If you guys look on my front page when we're not streaming, we have the whole keep in the winter scene. Within the keep, we have trainers that are player characters. So Ace Broadhead is there. He is the archer trainer for all the people with bows, right? And he gives them special abilities and special things as they go up in level. And Walt's character, Gilgalad, is the mage trainer there with his library, and they have rules on finding Eurekas on spells. So it's kind of the same thing we did, Brian, but just a little differently. It's Order of Yuluk based, but it's kind of similar. This is more than one. It's more than a one-on-one deal, but it's got a similar feel to it. I like that because it customizes the training rules a little bit, where it gives you a little bit of a different flavor than just going up in level. So, yeah, it's a good Thunder. It's a great thing, Brian, for one-on-one. It's absolutely great. And let me tell you something. I know Tom and Walt both love that their older characters, because these characters got up in age, right, are involved in our campaign now, helping younger level characters. And like Tom helped me, the Ace's Arrow of Amplitude. He helped me name that item. He came up with it. Said, "Well, can I have them craft a non-magical special arrow with that Ace has made for these that he can give to them as they go up. And I was like, yeah, sure. And he came up with that idea, and that just further enhanced what we were doing. It was cool. So the mentoring thing's a great idea, Brian. Absolutely, a great idea. Plus, well, when I think about it, now you have different groups of characters interacting. Once again, it creates a campaign.
Plus, it's like reality. You learn from the old timers that have been doing stuff, or even if they're not old, they've been doing it for a while. So
Yeah.
Good.
I wish that, and I don't want to say that there's no right or wrong way to play the game. I think, Brian, you agree that the Forgotten Realms version, you start at first, you do this entire campaign thing, you go up to 20th, you retire, right? And you start a new one. That's kind of like we were talking about the way it is.
I don't. So, like, here's the thing. I don't know if you could say the Forgotten Realms thing. It's just the whole current state of
WotC.
What?
The way the stuff's coming out from WotC is set that way.
Yes. So, like, you can do exactly what we're doing right now in Greyhawk in Forgotten Realms. Technically, you could.
Yeah.
It's just, want to get away from that whole area where everybody's running around super duper levels and whatnot.
Well, it is. It's definitely, and you see our characters. Straight thieves are at highest, like Leuven and Sam, 17th, 18th level. Britta Mart's a cavalier; she's 15th or whatever. That's super high. Super high for us is 12th. That is really high level for us in our campaigns. You really get to that. Shlomo Miller, I think, is 13th. Walsdorf. You really get to that level where it's hard to throw up against, but other evil PCs. So I wanted to talk a little bit about organizations. And Tim, why don't you talk about, like, you have a really rich interaction with all the different, like, criminal organizations in your city states, right? There's all different sorts of ones.
I think he just called you a slumlord.
Well, that city state's meant to be all. There's
it's
varying levels of neutral and evil.
Inside the city-state wall, there is one thieves guild, and you are in grave danger if you go and operate without their permission and stuff. So they're tightly controlling that. But outside it created a whole bunch of other different crime organizations, and so they had their own specialties. Some of them were robbers, some of them were, racketeers, protection rackets, some of them were, those sort of things, burglary specialists. And I even had one they're called the crime wizards, where they're all magic users, and so, but they still are using their magic to steal people's stuff.
Yeah, there's no good at all, and very little good.
That's not true. There's a number of lawful good people. It's just that you guys don't seem to draw their attention that much, because it really is. She's kind of nasty.
Yeah, Kixana is really the only good at heart character. Ulrich, I think, is a little bit.
I think Ulrich's good. I think everyone's neutral with good tendencies, I would say, in the party, except maybe Greenleaf. No, I'd say everybody generally is. If she's going to choose to hang out with someone, she's not going to choose to hang out with evil people. I mean, just because it's more dangerous, I guess.
But you know what, though? When we're talking about this, that group, besides Mark marrying off his two characters, are they the best of friends? It's hard to say. I think that Hawk, Zumba, Fencing, and Leuven are more best friends than in your campaign. They're more of like business acquaintances.
No, I think the thieves are pretty much, because they're pretty much tight. They're tight.
The problem is Walt hasn't been there in 25 years. We got to get Walt back into it.
But they were real tight, because they would, we'd leave their villa, we'd leave everyone waiting, and then the four would go ahead, sneak ahead, or get in position, and then you'd come in a few minutes later, and we would just backstab everyone. So it's like
true.
I think they were, but yeah, the reality time gap makes it like.
Yeah, I mean, we just got picked it up after 25 years, and we've had two sessions on it.
There's a whole bunch of different organizations.
There are
ones where there's more of them, because I wanted to have a lot of chaos and turmoil, and not give you just one enemy to fight.
Stupid tickle cloth. In Greyhawk, we have the Order of Ulick, Knights of Holy Shielding, all different other sorts of organizations that can reach out and have a purpose. But there's others beyond just the Order of Ulick, but that's been our point of influence for 40 years.
I would say if you want to, I mean, really, Greyhawk should have the same sort of thing. You should have a number of rival organizations.
We do, and look, there's a picture of one right now. There are 2 thieves guilds in Altamira. Because of what happened with Lord Drarius the Deposed, character neutral dual class Cavalier Thief, who got left by Alan's character Sam in Highport and swore a life revenge on him, and now is the head of the Thieves Guild in Altamira. And everything he does is to want to seek revenge on Sam. Whoa, that was a whoop.
Sorry,
but because they don't allow halflings or gnomes in the guild at all, Euban Haddish showed up, the head of what organization?
the
Wow,
nefarious something
Spunk.
That's Spunk. Nefarious Kleptomaniacs.
Short People's Union for Nefarious Kleptomaniacs.
Yeah.
So we have a rival thieves guild in that town. So we had in Altamira, right in our own created city, we have that. Along with this group of characters you see up on the screen now. And this will be our emphasis for Thursday night. That is the Altamira Bounty Hunters Guild, which Bounty Hunter is a custom class. But there is a Bounty Hunter written up in Dragon, but it's our own custom class we've used to take place of Assassins. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. So what module or supplement do you guys recommend for 1E, 2E Urban City State campaigning? The best, Thunder, that's easy. The best written ever supplement is the Free City of Greyhawk box set by far. Number 1. It is, the original one that was 2E based. It is the best. The detail in it is unbelievable. The organizations in it. You have the Shapeshifters. You have the Cult of the Shriven Sickle. You have Old Mother Grubs, right, Bill? Well, you got a whole bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah, it's great because not only that, the whole city is laid out.
Yes.
The city organizations, the Lamplighters Guild.
All the guilds are in it, yes. It is by far the best. The People's Constables are in there, which are an annoyance. All the different sections of the city are written up. Fantastic. It is by far the number 1 that I recommend. Number 2, the Slavers reference. We use it for our Harby campaigning. We use it for all the Wild Coast campaigning. We use it for a lot of the Pomage when it comes to the Slavers organizations, and the towns are all in there. Safeton's in there. Harby. All the up and down the Wild Coast they discuss. Elred's in there. Highport's in there. That one's a great one too. So they're for city-based, they're the 2 that I would recommend by far, hands down. And then to supplement the City Greyhawk box set, the From the Ashes box set, give you a little more future things. Although there's a lot of people who got killed off in that, we didn't do. So, like Valderessa Sharn, who I'm showing the picture of her. She's one of the oligarchs now in the Shieldlands, and they just kill her off and From the Ashes. Boom, they just say she died, and I was like, that's ridiculous. But hopefully that answers your question.
I don't have any of those, but I like the City State at the end of the
Well, yes, the City State is awesome, and you can get it in Old School Edition, right? Holmes Basic. You can get it in 2E, you get it in 3E, and I think they've even released a 5E version. There's all different sorts of versions of City State. So you can get it in different versions depending on the version you play. So, all right, we got about 10 minutes left. So why don't we do some discussion on what hopefully that Dragon Heist is sort of that. I think I don't know anything about Dragon Heist. Do you know anything about Dragon Heist, Brian?
Dragon Heist is a top from. So it eventually goes into Undermountain, but it starts with Waterdeep.
All right, so it's Forgotten Realms.
Yep, Forgotten Realms. But you can still take some of the lessons that you learned in that, but it does have a lot of urban planning in it, from what I recall. I haven't bought any of the recent modules. Last one I bought was Tomb of Annihilation.
Okay.
I think if you're
which I wasn't a fan of.
If you're gonna run a city adventure, look at some of the shows like Rome, parts where they're in Rome, and the part, especially the parts that are dealing with the other criminal lords, and then look at some of the the way things function in a city. Then it helps you describe the smell, the sounds, and the action, and what happens when bad things go on, and the number of people, and that'll help give you some ideas. I think when you're running the urban environment, and there's a lot of random things that are certain incidents that random encounters that help flesh things out, make it interesting.
Well, if you guys can, I popped that up there. That'll be we'll discuss that on the end on future stuff. So, guys, I know we didn't hit a lot on organizations, but so what do you think as far as a final say on a relationship discussion? Anyone want to tackle that, like the benefits or the reasons behind it, or have we touched on the subject enough?
Relationships are great to develop in a game, even if it's a one-off game, just because it makes it
Memorable.
more fulfilling and more memorable, more like reality, and not like trying to make it like reality, but just makes it more of a storyline. I mean, otherwise you're just a number of stats that are just rolling dice, and that's not really that fun. You never read a book like that, so why would you have a game like that? You want to have the story and the reason why people interact.
Absolutely. You hit it the nail on the head there. I'm a little fuzzy now. There you go. Is that and we do it. There's some silliness in the games. We've all done it, and we've all had some funny stories here. And what's it called? Orcish
Battle bow tie.
Wow.
Just rolls off the tongue.
That will probably end up being in Greyhawk canon, and we'll see WotC putting it out there in some adventure in a week or so. And like, how the hell did they find out about that? You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. But Orcish battle bow tie. Wow, that's great. Bill, can you? What else you got going over there, man? So you can show. You got anything else you can show? How about the dwarf?
That's not. It's inside.
Okay.
I'm working on a fire giant.
Oh, okay. You're putting them together.
Yeah. Well, I'm painting it in pieces, so it's
okay. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff from Reaper. I only want to tell you guys how much I put in my pledge, so I won't. But those scenery stuff, I can't wait. That'll be cool. And Reaper's been very generous to us.
I'm looking forward to April of 21.
Yes, it's a long time off, but in the meantime, we have a lot of stuff to get out there for Reaper to our campaign. One of Tom's new characters in the Thursday Night Adventure, and I have his name here somewhere, and I can't remember. Jesper or Jasper? It's Oh, okay. What was? Did I circle back to that, Brian? Did I get to that?
No.
Why don't you discuss it real quick then? I'm sorry.
So, who was it that asked?
West River Rat.
Yeah. So West asked.
Let's answer his question. Yep.
Was there ever a PC that somebody rolled up that you did not like to begin with, but grew on you?
That grew on us? Well,
Yes.
I'll tell you, it's in reverse. Walt had one he couldn't stand in our latest Harbury group, right, Bill? And I killed him off. I had him assassinated.
At his request.
Kind of at his request, and then he got a Rafiki in his replace. So we've had one that was killed off. But I've had guys, oh yeah, they've grown on me. I never thought Fritz would be as popular as he is.
I don't know why he's as popular as he is.
He's an anti-hero. That's why.
I rolled a barbarian using the alternate rolling method in the Unearthed Arcana. Female barbarian. She ended up with 17 strength and 18 intelligence. You only get 3 dice for intelligence. She ended up with 18 intelligence, and I
great question.
So annoyed that I didn't have 18 strength. I was so annoyed, but it actually turned out to be a fun character to play. You know,
can you dual class a barbarian, a human barbarian, with enough training? No.
No.
I mean, if you could storyline it, if you're the DM, I mean, it's your world. So
yeah,
I would allow it to happen if the storyline supported it.
Sorry, Wes, that we didn't get to that earlier. I'm sorry about that. So, Brian, do you have anything to input on that?
I think I mentioned the character once before, Thessalon. He started off as a real agent of chaos and like is just a tricky to manage character, but wound up being one of my favorite characters of all time. That's the one that I wound up trapping into the bottle, and the bottle makes it into every campaign. And that, like when we did the Tomb of Annihilation campaign, his character that he was playing
awesome.
died, and so I allowed him to come back as Thessalon because the bottle was in the tomb, and so like this bottle just goes everywhere, and so he got to play this character over again at a higher level, and so at some point I'm sure it'll make its way over to Greyhawk too.
That is super cool, man.
An interdimensional bottle.
It's like your Lochnar from Heavy Metal. It appears in every story. So that's cool, man. Definitely. So, Bill, what do you got going on, man, out there besides the crafting? You're just playing in Thursday night, correct?
What's that? I'm sorry.
What do you got going on? What do you got going on craft wise? He's got a new dwarf coming for a Reaper, the Reaper Bones.
Done. I'm working on the Dryad. I'm working on bones for Spider Queen throne. I finished those cocoons. So we got more stuff coming. The dwarf I have to get done. He's 90% done, but I got him inside. I was working on him in there.
Yeah, Greg Lestrian, you're absolutely correct. So Tom will have a dwarf fighter instead of a half ogre fighter in this new group, and we'll see if it's a similar Kren who can never hit. He went an entire night, a half ogre fighter of like 18 whatever / strength. He missed the entire night the one time. He missed you remember Tim how he never did not hit the entire night. It was unbelievable how many times he fumbles. Yeah, definitely. All right, Tim, what do we got going on down the road?
We have the 14th of December, the next Saturday night special, a continuation against the leaders of the slavers that you massacred.
Yes, so our next Saturday night special is scheduled for, unless Brian hops in earlier with something, which I doubt it'll happen, but you never know. And I'm working on something else too for someone else. December 14th, the week after PAX Unplugged ends, will be our next Saturday night special with our City State of the Invincible Overlord campaign. I had the ad up before we started tonight, and it's going to be I'm being told it's a high level free for all, and it's going to be ugly.
It's going to be as easy as the last fight was. It will be the opposite. But
I like a challenge.
The first 40 seconds of the last fight, there were 9 fireballs, a wall of fire, and a confusion spell that went off.
As it should be with that high-level party, dealing with a bunch of slavers.
During the fight, there were 12 fireballs that gone off. I mean, it was...
So, Tim, I can't wait for it.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to pop up Brian's. Please check out Brian's Obsidian Portal site. It's awesome. All the detail and the crafting he's done with herbs and all the stuff for religion and following. We did that a couple weeks ago. All the neat stuff. So, Brian, what do you got going on?
We are starting our follow-up to the Tomb of the Lizard King. My campaign, Tomb of the Lizard King stuff, took place like 40 years ago, and they are kind of interacting with some repercussions of that. So none of my players listen to this. No offense, Jay, but I tried and try, but for some reason they just don't like to hear me, I guess.
What, you mean you try to direct them the right way and they just wouldn't listen?
They don't listen. So I will tell you what's going on with this is there are a quartet of lizard folk that wound up taking the ashes of Sakatha and used a ritual and empowered themselves with all sorts of various heightened abilities. So even though Sakatha is dead, there's one person that's continuing talking to Sakatha beyond the grave.
Nice.
One person that got complete control over animals, and so like the alligators are acting as like defense, hiding their stuff. One became a military expert, is leading the campaign that's about to unleash against the whole Martians. And then, another one is got massive scrying abilities and now kind of acts as like a recon for gathering the information. So they got this quartet just kind of going through.
Wow.
And I asked Jay for some character names. So I got some character names that are legit character names that I said took care of Sakatha in the past.
Yes, I did. Pretty cool. And you had one, for some reason, you wanted one alive and 3 are dead.
Yes, one's alive because they can go talk to him if they want.
Nice. But they probably won't.
If they do, they get some nice armor.
Yeah, well, that's...
I get a shock absorbing plate. Or not plate, scale, no scale mail? Split mail.
All right, so hey, Mike, good to see you. I'm popping up, Mike. Mike is the be-all, end-all of 2E fantasy ground coding for all our old Greyhawk adventures that are coming out, a lot of them, and so check out what he's got going on at his Twitch channel as well, and Mike's been a great subscriber here, so please check him out as well, his site. And hopefully you got some cool things going on too. So Brian, that's cool. We need to continue our Salt Marsh adventures with you, with me, Anna, and and if Will in place of Bill, and the Naz down the road.
I figure I'll have to get Fantasy Grounds Ultimate kind of. I can't imagine there's much of a big learning curve between the two.
I was watching on the show last Friday some of the things where you could just go and make the tunnels and make all sorts of things real quick, which is kind of cool. So, but they have a lot of glitches right now with it. So here's what's going on. We got a lot going on the next couple of weeks. Let's talk about real quick Gabbin next week. So we're going to go back to our discussion of an area next week, and our Gabbin will be on next week. Will be on the Ulick States and the Lort Mill Mountains. So we're going to talk about that area in our campaign or in canon. Some alternate things that can happen. I've asked, I don't think Carlos can make it, but Carlos has done a lot of development in the county of Ulick. If he can make it on next week, he's going to try. But that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to show on the map all locations that Anna's edited in, all the cool things we have going on in these 3 states. I mean, our Gabbin show is in Tringley. This is Lord Peaks Haven is a bar in Tringley. That's where it came from. So we have all sorts of things going on in the area. Yeah, Mike, I agree. It's not ready for prime time, but when it's ready, it'll be awesome. So that's what we're doing next week. But the week after, okay, so that's on the 10th. On the 17th, I get a text, a direct message from someone. I'm talking on Facebook. I think I want to come back on the show. When do you want me on? I said, okay. What's the earliest you can come on? He goes, how about 2 weeks from this show? I just need to prep what the topic's going to be. I said, what do you want the topic to be? So Leonard Lakofka is coming back on in 2 weeks. The Leonard Lakofka, and he's going to show how he makes a town up, and he's going to show what he's done in Lendor Isle and in Ratic, his 2 areas that he works with. And we'll have some updated maps for him, custom areas he's done his campaign, and he wants to share how he creates a city. Yes. So Leonard Lakofka returns, and town planning in 2 weeks on from tonight. So Gabbin 71, we'll see Leonard back on the show, which is great to see. That he wants to come back on, and yes, it'll be lots of great stuff coming up. Beyond that, I don't have the one 3 weeks down the road scheduled yet what we're going to do, but that's what we're going to do the next 2. Tomorrow night, Marco's group, great adventure, Gates of Firestorm Peak. It's been set in the Lort Mills, Crown Hills for Mark's campaign, which exists in my world. So just please know his group Slap and his Shieldlands group all kind of exist in our campaign as well. And then Thursday night, I am taking, and I love this guy's one-offs. They're only $1.50 on Giant Through RPG. I'm taking this one. It's called Hellfire Mountain. Okay, it's by Creation's Edge Games, and the gentleman's name is Matthew Klein. I take his, and I modify him heavily for my campaign. So the gist of this one is the following. A dwarf there's one dwarf in the Principality of Ulick who's a noble dwarf who's allied with the Order of Ulick, and that's Lord Koppel. Lord Koppel has sent one of his dwarf allies / lieutenant captains north to Altamira to meet up with the Altamira Bounty Hunters Guild to locate Zorth, the Human Torch. Zorth has been causing trouble in the mines in the Principality of Uluk, and indiscriminately with him and his minions killing off dwarves, apparently looking for something. Well, now Zorth has headed north through Altamira and continued to head north. Here's the guild of the bounty hunters that are PCs and NPCs we currently have active, and this group is the Huntsman. The Huntsman's a bunch of, there's bounty hunters, all different sorts of classes, but this dwarf will approach the bounty hunters guild to help find this guy, and they want him dead or alive. And we'll see where that goes. And it's probably about a 2-week adventure. It'll start in Altamira. So it's called Hellfire Mountain. It's seriously edited from this, but it's a good basis. Like I said, just give the people credit when you take someone else's work, and sometimes you just run with it. And this one's fantastic, and that's what I did. So that'll be adventure number 864. And it'll be running the next 2 weeks. That's what we got going on, guys. Lots of cool stuff. Hopefully you all have enjoyed this one. This was kind of like in deep to think about where we were going with relationships, but I'm glad. Brian, thank you for participating. Tim, thank you. Bill, thank you. You know, I wanted to go over what we do and discuss, you know, our campaign has just grown in richness with all the things we've added. And like I said, the heraldry and the maps are great, but the interrelationships between characters and the generations of characters, kids adventuring, and now we have kids having children. It's grown, and it's been fantastic. And we need more Bill on character for awesome factor. Shido, I've tried, man. I don't know what to do. I have tried to get Bill. Let me tell you something. The smoke things, all the cool things he does for us, he just, yeah.
Bill, your smoke was awesome. We needed a lot of that.
We used a lot of it in Tim's. Yeah, Shido, I have tried.
I'm shocked.
I will guarantee this. The Kickstarter for Reaper is ended. I have reached out to Reaper to get Ron on, the art director. And if that happens on a Gabbin, a future Gabbin, Bill has agreed to come on, and Jacob Jansen has agreed to come on, and you know, a couple other people who do crafting and work and talk about figures and talk about monsters that are made. I'm working on like a crafting discussion show that they've agreed to come on. Maybe you'll see some more stuff. So yes. No, he wouldn't. They've already agreed to do it. I just got to get a time frame set. Now that the Kickstarter's ended, that Reaper will come on and bring people onto this talk show. I think it'll be a huge success for all parties involved. Reaper's been a great sponsor for us. And so let me tell you something, Stratagem and Miniature Building Authority have been just as good. It's been a great, you know, I have no complaints. Our sponsors are fantastic, and you'll see more and more of their stuff as we keep on going. So thank you all. I'm going to try, you know, I'll try and get as much as I can. Ron is great. He's the one that recommended our sponsorship to Michael Collins. So I'm so looking forward to it. Yes. I don't know the date on that. It may be 2020, maybe 2020. They can't say they can't do it as the holidays approach. Who knows? But it will happen. I guarantee it. So Leonard Lakovka in 2 weeks, Uluk and the Lord Mill Mountains discussion next week. I think that'll be a really cool one. Guys, anything in closing? Thank you. Thanks for great. That was cool. What's that, Tim? All right. See you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on Standard Time now, guys. Back to Standard Time. It'll be pitch black here at 6 p.m., but Marco's...
I hate it.
I know. So
it's still O Dark 30 when I get up, so it doesn't matter.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you, everyone. And I'm going to throw. Let me see. I'm going to throw out there a little ending. I'm going to go back to the stratagem thing real quick. I'm going to show everyone who wasn't on at the beginning the Wolves of Mercia card game that is out now for stratagem, and then I'll go to the ending screen here. So here it is, guys. The new card game coming out for. Pretty neat stuff. Hopefully our giveaway will include these card games this month. That's what as long as they're not out of stock on them, they're going so well right now. But I'm trying to get stratagem to get me at least 3 of these to give away. Yes. Thanks, Thunder. Thank you so very much for, you really questions. Thank you all tonight. Appreciate it. So look for that. Hopefully we'll have that in a week or two. And see you tomorrow night. And Shido, maybe you'll get your wish and Jeff will have one of his characters die.
Good night.
See you,
Hi,
man.
Bill. I was a bit off my game tonight. I was in an easily distractible mood. I don't know why.
Ah, dude, it's all right, man. It's just, you know, it's a daylight savings time ending. It's cool. It's a good discussion. I knew it was a little abstract.
It's all right. Oh, they're asking for a raid.
There's no crafters on the raid. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set our host as soon as I go offline. I'll set the host up to. Well, I don't have to go offline here. Let me see if I can do this. See if we raid into tabletop notch real quick.
Yeah, I was just looking. I was like, I don't know what these guys are about.
1 second. Tabletop notch is pretty cool. They got a good group of people. Let's see if I can get. Let's see if I can get a. See if I can get some people that are still on. Let's see if we get at least like 10 or 20. I'm still on, guys. So, all right, we got 15. That's good enough. We'll head over to Tabletop Notch real quick. All right, guys. We'll see you. The raid should be on. We'll see you tomorrow night.